Convicted felon president Donald Trump clearly has dementia or cognitive decline. And then his physical health is showing just horrific signs that it doesn't look like this guy's going to be around that much longer. There's a massive cover up going on, but he's trying to physically cover up all of this bruising and scarring on his hands. And he's using this awful makeup. Clearly has no LGBTQ plus staff that can help blend it properly. And that's what happens when you try to demonize an entire community. But here he is in the Oval Office, and he is sitting behind a desk to hide his cankles. And watch what he's doing, trying to cover up his right hand with all the makeup on it.
Project to make it, it'll be great. It'll be fantastic. You see the way this is looking? Look, nice. I can't tell you how much that gold costs, a lot of money. There's nothing like gold and there's nothing like solid gold, but this beautiful office needed it. It had to be representative. When we took it over, it was dirty, not clean. I immediately changed the chair and had this beautiful desk renovated, brought out by the White House. People that do this, they did a great job. We send it out. We have a craftsman who's great. But this was not appropriate for the Oval Office when I took over. And now you look at all those paintings you're allowed to turn back. All of these are great presidents. And they're
okay. You can see he's constantly covering up his hand. He has on a ball cap that says Trump was right about everything. And he's talking about interior decorating. In my opinion, you guys, this man is a bisexual. He talks about, he's a size queen. He talks about the size of Arnold Palmer's penis. He talks about how hot men are. He practically was, like hyperventilating at how attractive he thought Harrison Butker is. He tried to give a microphone a blowjob. And the only time I've ever heard him really talk about women is either that he wants to sexually assault them and he can do it because he's famous, or he can walk in and see teenage girls naked. And so what I think we have existing in the MAGA movement right now are what I'm going to add some letters to the alphabet. DL LGBTQ plus movement. And these are the down low LGBTQ plus people in this administration. We know they crashed Grindr twice. And this man, I've never seen a president so attracted by other men and have such an interest in interior design.
Well, as you've often said, which I think is so smart, that they give him projects because he's incapable of understanding policy, plus he doesn't care. But that was the most self-discipline I've seen Donald Trump with the hand. Normally he's off the wall. He's talking about Hannibal Lecter. He is so spot on holding the hand over the other hand and then holding the hand back. So that tells me it must be bad. And also I look at that and I think you are kicking almost 17 million Americans off healthcare. You are taking away SNAP benefits and the Department of Education, but you're going to tell the American people how expensive gold is and how putting it in the office was a good use of government dollars. It's disgusting.
Okay, let's look at these images in this tweet. Pop this up, Kylie. At the main wonk tweets, people are saying the president has congestive heart failure and the administration is concealing his condition. Who is running the country? How long has the administration hid his condition? Did I do this right? I'm sure Jake Tapper is on the case. Put up the photos with this. Okay, here's his hand, okay, with this horrific concealer that looks like spackle. And then let's go to the next photo. You guys, this is a new thing right here. What we have is a muffin top cankle. Okay. The cankles are as big in circumference as my chubby French bulldogs. But if you notice, he has had to push his his feet into those shoes. And we've got a muffin top cankle. So what I'm going to start referring to him now for the remainder of this episode is muffin top kanks. And muffin top kanks is pretending like he's running the country, but the dark forces behind him are just giving him show projects, and he's very easy to distract. He's very easy to flatter. He's very easy to just get off of one path and get him on the other. So that leaves us with the question is who is running the country? And one candidate that I have is failed drag queen, smoky eye sociopath, JD Just Dance Vance, who I'm going to refer from this point forward as a Lil Smoky, pun intended on the Lil Smoky, if you get my drift. So let's play this clip. He made the rounds when we have all of these cascading problems in the geopolitical world. We have Gaza, we have Russia, and JD Lil Smoky goes to the Sunday morning shows, and this guy was educated at Yale, and I just want you to hear how stupid he is.
I get to security guarantees, but very quickly, if Russia is allowed to keep any of the territory that it illegally seized, what message does that send to China? Does it give China a green light to invade Taiwan? Does it give Russia a green light to invade other European countries, which is what your European allies are concerned about?
Well, first of all, the Ukrainians are going to ultimately make the determination about where you draw the territorial lines in their own country. But, Kristen, this is how wars ultimately get settled. If you go back to World War II, if you go back to World War I, if you go back to every major conflict in human history, they all end with some kind of negotiation. We're actually...
Okay, stop. That is a lie, and that is willful stupidity and willful gaslighting on his part. World War II ended because the Allied forces surrounded Hitler and he shot himself. And then the United States sent nukes to Nagasaki and Hiroshima. There was no negotiating in that. That was, we are going to defeat fascism. He says this because he himself has negotiated with Nazis. And I'm talking about Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. So he says that because it's familiar to him, because that's what he has done in his 180-degree about face.
It's so unbelievable that the vice president of the United States, either he doesn't know history, but I think he does. And he's just trying to make the administration look better because they're so weak that he's acting like, oh yeah, this happens all the time. And the dipshits that choose stupid every morning, they probably don't know history either and know that he's lying.
I think a middle schooler knows what happened at the end of World War II. What this is a constant global realignment of authoritarians. He's intentionally providing cover for Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, he's this big Christian, and the Russians have kidnapped 1.6 million Ukrainian children. He doesn't give a shit about that. So it's even more insidious than what you describe. It's willful stupidity, but also a realignment. He's the one who goes and says Europe is going the wrong way, and he speaks horribly about European allies. So this is far more insidious and far more 3D, 4D chess, what the base thinks Trump is doing, but all of these evil men are doing. So if you think about it like this, you have Muffin Top Kanks, and then he's clearly not running the country. He's too busy redecorating the Oval and putting makeup on his hands, okay? And then playing, with his lie social. So then they trot out JD Vance. The administration has announced that they're giving him more of a leadership role pertaining to the Russia-Ukraine war. And then it makes you think, because we've all seen video of Lil Smokey from like 12 months ago. And it's like, oh, it's America's Hitler. And he completely had clarity on what a nut Trump was. So why did he do an 180-degree turn? Who's running JD Vance? Well, Lil Smokey is owned by a man named Peter Thiel. Put this up. Peter Thiel, the Palantir co-founder with close ties to JD Vance, will hold a 4-part lecture series on the Antichrist. And here's what y'all need to understand about Peter Thiel. Number one, not American born. So by MAGA's logic, they want American born people because it shows more loyalty to the country. Yet MAGA's 3 big superheroes are Rupert Murdoch, not born on American soil, Elon Musk, not born on American soil, and Peter Thiel, not born on American soil. Now, I'm not so shallow as to think that somebody could be an immigrant and automatically have nefarious intentions for the United States of America. But it seems like the people that are pulling the levers in the MAGA movement are foreign born that don't care about America's interests. But here's what's interesting about Peter Thiel. He's intentionally contradictory. He's a huge Christian, yet he is an out of the closet gay man. And he plays this whole, he cares about society, but he thinks that democracy is no longer compatible with the best wishes of the people. And Peter Thiel, if there ever was a walking, breathing embodiment of the Antichrist, it is he. And so when you think about, if you've grown up in the Bible Belt, and I remember when I was younger, these peers of mine would talk about the Antichrist, and they're literally like, they think he's coming, just cuckoo for Cocoa Puff stuff. But Peter Thiel believes this shit, and he's doing a 4-part series on it. And they have this intentional cognitive dissonance on display all of the time, because the easiest people to manipulate are these hardcore right-wing Christians, whether they're Catholics like Little Smokey or complete closeted evangelicals like Moses Mike, Josh Hawley, Lindsey Graham, etc. These are the easiest people to manipulate. So it's no coincidence that this is what this man is doing. And make no mistake about it, J.D. Vance's net worth was around $1 million with his book, Hillbilly Elegy. He goes out to Peter Thiel, works for him, clearly gets queer-eyed, and now his net worth is over $10 million. So he has 9 million reasons to not support democracy anymore, because these men have no conviction.
They have no conviction, and they sell to the highest bidder. And Peter Thiel, what we have to remember is he is now in charge of all of our data, from the Doge and Elon Musk situation.
And Palantir.
And through Palantir. He is the one controlling it. So when I look at the 2026 midterm and moving forward with elections, I worry about that motherfucker more than anybody. And I agree with you. The Antichrist, he should just look in the mirror and call it a day.
And it's just, you have to follow what's going on here. Muffin Top Kanks is clearly not running the country. They're trotting out J.D. Vance. Who put J.D. Vance in power? Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. By MAGA's logic, these people are, quote, foreigners. And what do they want to do? They want to destroy American democracy. Why the Dems aren't hammering this is beyond me, but we will do it nonetheless. I just want to leave you with a video here of Peter Thiel, so you understand how divorced from reality and psychotic and evil this man is.
So, and then, but I would always maybe go back to, the apocalyptic specter would be, Antichrist or Armageddon, and I think there is a lot in this runaway science technology that's pushing us towards something like Armageddon, and then there is, the natural pushback on this is we will avoid Armageddon by having a one world state that has real teeth, real power, and the biblical term for that is the Antichrist, and the Christian intuition I have is, I don't want Antichrist, I don't want Armageddon. I would like to find some narrow path.
All right, I've heard enough. And to quote George W. Bush, that was some really weird shit.
Yeah.
And everybody should be completely alarmed. This cover-up that is going on with Muffin Top Kanks passing over to their show pony, Queer-Eyed Lil Smokey. And there are some foreign-born weirdos that are actively trying to put the military and militarize the streets so that when Muffin Top Kanks kicks the bucket, that they can have everything in place to just steamroll their agenda through. All right, that's all we have for today. Buy our book, Life is a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches, and we'll see you all later.